Okay, part 2 of UML. Remember, we have our class defined under UML. Now we are looking at the Furniture tab, which has tabs for each one of my functions that I have, or methods as they're called in a class. So we'll start with set weight. We have start in weight because we're passing it in from the main program, and we just need one assignment. Most of these are pretty short. We're not doing a lot with this class. And it wants me to save first, so let me save it to the desktop and call it Furniture. Okay, so only thing in here is this one statement. So let me open my dialog box, and here's what I want to do. I want to set this weight. This is known as, the word this is known as the this pointer, and it's used with dot notation and then the name of my variable. I want to set it to what I pass in WT. So I'm setting the weight field in the class, this weight field, the current object, equal to the WT I'm passing in. And that's it. And actually set cost looks exactly the same way. We'll use the this pointer for each of these. So this one is the cost. So in this case I want to set this dot cost equal to the variable I passed in, which is CT. And then my set description, same thing again, using the this pointer, this dot, and this is description, DESCRIPTION, and I used DESC as my variable when I passed it in. So that takes care of, whoops, apparently I closed it without saving it. This description equal to DESC. The value passed in is DESC. It's going to assign it to the description field in my furniture class. So that takes care of set description, set cost, set weight. So now we get to do the get functions. Now the get functions are the functions, remember, that I'm going to take the values that are stored in my class's attributes, weight, cost, and description, and I want to pass those back to the main program. So first of all, I need to indicate which direction am I going with an assignment block here. So I want to edit this, and I want to tell it that I want to set weight equal to this weight, which means I'm actually working with the current object. Then I'm going to use my new return symbol here, right under this, and I want to return weight. So that's actually what you type in here, the variable to return, weight. So I'm saying that the current object's weight, this weight, is is in weight, and then I'm going to return weight. You can use different variable names, but it seems a little clearer to me if I stick with the same variable names. So the other two get functions look exactly alike. So again, an assignment box where I'm going to say that cost is equal to this cost, and then I'm going to return cost, and it's returning to the main program. So the variable coming back is cost. And then my get description, again, it's exactly the same. Then I want to set description equal to the current description, which is what we use the this pointer for this object that I'm currently working with. And then I need to return that value to the main program. So I want to return description, and that does it. So the set functions all look the same, the get functions all look the same, because all we're doing is sending values back and forth between our class code and our main program. Furniture, remember, is a little bit different because it is the construction, although it doesn't look very different than a set procedure. So I need a couple of assignment boxes, because I'm passing the values in through WT, CT, and description. So what I want to do is in each of these set, using the this pointer, that this weight is equal to WT. And then I want to do another one to say that this cost is equal to CT, because I'm passing CT in from main, and I'm setting these in the class code. And then the last one is for the description, so I want to set this description equal to DESC, which is what I called it. So that allows me to initialize my constructor. So now I'm ready actually to build the main program. So I'm going to come back and click on main. And in main, we want to do a couple of things. First of all, we want to instantiate a new object. And I'm going to do that with an assignment box. So I want to click it right here under Start. And I want to call my first furniture object Table. That's my first object. It's Table. And Table is new, and that's required furniture. I can't remember if I capitalized it. I think I did. Yes. New furniture. So that instantiates an object called Table that is of the class Furniture. Now, I want to start using my set functions to actually set the weight and the cost and the description. So I'm going to use call statements because remember all of those are here under furniture. So I need to call those functions. So I'm going to start right here, and I'm just hard coding these in. So I have to use dot notation because that's the only way that I can show table dot, and then when I pull it up I can see all of my choices down at the bottom of the dialog box. And I'm using set weight first, and inside the parentheses I'm going to pass it, and whatever I put in here is going to get stored in WT. So I said that my table weight was 50 pounds. So I'm setting the weight of 50, and it's going through WT in furniture set weight. WT, that 50 is coming in here and setting the weight field. Now, I'm going to do the same thing for each of the other fields. So, dot notation, set cost, took one parameter, which was the cost of the table. It's 99.99, cheap table. And then I want to set the description. So table dot set description, and this is a string, so it is enclosed in quotes. It's blonde oak. So now they're all passed in to my class. But now I want to return them from my class to my main program. Those are output statements. So I need an output statement here that says the table weighs, and I'm going to call my function that returns a value, which are, those are my get functions. So it's table dot get weight. It didn't have any parameters, but I do have to open and close, and that's my table weight call. Then I'm going to do basically the same thing for the cost and the description. The table cost is, concatenate the call here, table dot get cost, and I do have to use the open and close parentheses. So there's the table cost. And then the last one will be the description. So I want to say the table is, and table dot get description. So it's returning a value from these get functions, whatever's stored in weight, cost, and description. And I have a place to plug it in the output statement. So these will call them. So let me try running it and see if we get through it without any major errors. Usually I spell something wrong. So far, so good. Wow, that doesn't usually happen. Okay, the table weighs 50, the table cost is 99.99, and the table is blonde oak. So all of my statements worked, all of my procedures or methods here worked, and my UML description. I've used everything except the constructor. So I'm going to go back to main and add the constructor in to this particular one. So the first thing is I have to instantiate a new object. So I'm going to use an assignment block, and it looks just like that first one there, table, but we're going to call this one chair. So I'm going to say chair is new furniture. So now the this pointer is going to refer to chair rather than table because chair will be the current object. So chair, new furniture, and I am going to use the constructor to get the value. So that's a little bit easier. Again, it's a call statement to my method that is my constructor. So I want to call chair dot furniture. That's the name of the constructor. It's always the name of the class. And then in the parameters inside here are the three values that I want to pass in, and I have to do them in the correct order. So the order that I'm going to do it is the weight, we'll say it's 20 pounds, the cost, which is $49.99, and we're going to say that this chair is maple. So the string maple. A lot easier than using all of those set functions because I can eliminate these by using the constructor to call it. However, I don't know what's stored there unless I output them. So I'm going to do an output statement. I'm actually going to call them all in the same output statement to make the code a little smaller. And let me make this box pretty wide so you can see what I'm typing here. Okay, so what I'm going to call here is a whole string. The chair weighs, and then I'm going to add the call to get weight. Only I forgot to put chair in front of it. It has to know which this pointer I'm working with, and it is chair, not table. So chair, get weight, like that. Then I'm going to concatenate, and I'm going to say it costs, need a space there, it costs, $, close my quote, and concatenate chair dot, and the next is cost, so it's get cost, then another one. Let's see, the chair weighs whatever the weight is, it costs whatever the cost, and let's just put it is, and concatenate the call to chair, chair, chair dot get description. Okay, done. So this was a little bit shorter than all the code I used up here. Of course, I could have combined these put statements into one, but let's run it again and see if our chair, new object chair, actually gets loaded, and if all the calls to the get functions work and our constructor works, so that we have all of that in our output screen. And of course you can watch it over on the left in the watch window. So here's my table, 50, 99.99. It's blonde oak. That was all hard coated up here. But my chair, remember,